is out. Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the League Zero Formula 3 Series, the premier Formula 3 iRacing League. I'm your host, James East, bringing you the action 1080p, 60 frames a second. On behalf of the Team Goon Squad Broadcasting Channel, thank you all for coming out tonight as we are at the virtual Long Beach Raceway. Now, some of you will remember the last time we were here was just a short season ago. And since I've picked up broadcasting the League Zero Formula 3 Series, this was the first race, the first track, I should say, that we saw the infamous safety car come out after Long Beach returned back to its roots, a regular stop-and-go road raceway. So we're going to see how things are going tonight, as right now qualifying underway for the drivers. Josh Green making his way back out, the former USF 2000 podium finisher, and now Indy Pro 2000 driver. And don't get me wrong, folks, I'm not talking about iRacing. We're talking about real-life race cars tonight. So it's good to see Green back out on track, both virtually and in the real world. And tonight we're switching it up a little bit. We're both live on Twitch and YouTube. Trying something a little bit different for our fans at home, so good to have the friends out from across the world. And good to be here supporting you as always. Thank you so much to our friends and family from across the world that tune in week and week out, supporting the broadcast, supporting the drivers, and supporting your favorite series, keeping these guys with a great audience as always. As it looks like qualifying about to come down to an end. Let's see if we can pull up the results right here. It's Green, Crouch, Potts, Miller, Aguilar, your top five. As most drivers have completed their session. Let's check in on the world-famous Australian, Gareth McAllister. Currently qualifying 16th. Now, he didn't have the qualifying run he was looking for early tonight. And out of 21 drivers, he will be a little bit further towards the back, as he will be done and out for qualifying. We got Craig Lowen joining us over here on YouTube. Great to see you, Craig. As qualifying comes to an end, let's get ready to start for the feature event here tonight. As we run it through tonight's grid, starting on pole will be Josh Green. Terry Crouch starting second. Jake Potts starts third. James Miller starting fourth. Raymond Aguilar fifth on the grid. Nick Peterson starting sixth. Antonio Bianchi starts seventh. Hunter Graves starting eighth. Conor Scribner starting ninth. John Kasai starts 10th. Brad Tritton starting 11th. Ryan Tebow 12th on the grid. Cycling back, we've got Kevin Burrows starting 13th. Jay Small starting 14th. Peter Rettinger starts 15th. Gareth, the world-famous Australian, starting 16th. Norman King 17th on the grid. Felipe Ramos starts 18th. Levi Opitz starting 19th. Xavier Zanave starting 21st. And Andrew Neri showing as 21st here tonight. We're going to try and get everybody out on track for the opening feature event here tonight. Let us know where you're from, who you're cheering for. as we're going to wait for the lights to come on and get the party started. It will be Green and Crouch on the front row, two of the most winningest drivers here at League Zero. And let's get ready to get the party started. Will we see the infamous safety car come out tonight? Or are we going to get this thing nice and clean and green? We will find out now as the lights are off. Away they go. Green and Crouch with a spectacular launch. And things are about to get heated here at Long Beach, as we're going 3 wide. And here we go. The pileup's going to start. Can they get through this nice and clean? You've got Terry Crouch and Raymond Aguilar, both plowed into the wall. They will be done and out, so they will quickly take a tow back to pit road to avoid the caution vehicle to come out. And we're going to run it green here as Josh Green runs out front. Now his paint, I believe, is outdated. He was supposed to be running a newer paint to reflect his real-life race car. Let's see if we can get that updated for our viewers at home. But, ooh, Green with a little bit of wall contact there as well. No, excuse me, that's Jake Potts. So Green out front is running his signature paint that you can find in the Indy Pro Series. So good to see the real-life professional out here having a lot of fun in these Formula 3 machines as he quickly puts an excellent gap. But let's go back further. Ryan Tebow involved in an incident, trying to find him as he is careening around. Let's see if we can get a quick instant replay to see what happened to Tebow. Oh, just cooks it in too deep. Has to use the runoff. And then gets things going back forward. Now Felipe Ramos shows involved in an incident, but his car is still rocking and rolling forward as well. But we're going to go back up front to Antonio Bianchi. He's battling for 5th out here today. It has quite a few familiar names and faces with him. Josh Green still out front with a comfortable 1-second margin over Jake Potts, James Miller, who are in podium contention. Now this is our feature event here tonight, so we're gonna run 30 laps all the way, for better or worse, and then we're gonna immediately take a short break, an intermission, to interview our top drivers, and then we will go into the sprint race, which is always action-packed. Half the laps, an inverted top 12 grid, and usually all sorts of spectacular shenanigans. Let's go a little bit further back. We've got some side-by-side action with Conor Scribner, John Kasai in the battle for 7th. Ooh, narrowly getting through there. Kasai backs out of it to avoid pinching off Scribner. Scribner holds on to the 7th place spot. Kasai now in 8th. Now, Kasai, no, he's got about 8/10 over Kevin Burrows, so no major pressure here to keep that forward momentum, but he's going to want to keep as many drivers behind him as he possibly can. And there's been a whole lot of incidents here tonight. Ryan Tebow, Felipe Ramos, Chase Small, all have been involved in those incidents, as well as Aguilar and Crouch, two very fast contenders who normally find themselves in the top 5, if not a winning position week in and week out. Had to take that tow early on. If you're joining us for the very first time, if you take a tow here at League Zero, that means you are done. You are out, and you will not be permitted to rejoin the raceway. Up front is Josh Green, making it look easy, the number 22 machine, but we've got more problems going on. Xavier Zanave shows involved in an incident that may allow Ryan Tebow to bring back some positions in the battle for 16th, as Ramos has yet another big problem in the tight right-hander. We're seeing drivers dropping like flies here today as we go back to McAllister. Oh, just like that, Norman King tags the outside wall, the right side wall, I should more aptly put. And he very quickly loses the wheel, so he's going to park it at the fountain. We expect him to go back to pit road and call it a night. So Long Beach chewing him up, spitting him out. As yes, we get confirmation. Ramos goes back to pit, excuse me, not Ramos, King goes back to pit road and retires early from the evening. Green still clicking off hot laps out front. As we are watching Gareth McAllister try to work his way further in the field. He's up 6 spots now inside the top 10. As we're going to pan back to Josh Green, your race leader. He's got the fastest lap of the race, a 1:15.2. So absolutely on fire out here today and keeping that forward momentum as long as he possibly can. Not having any problems, still keeping that thing pointed forward. And he already has a 5.5 second gap. So now that the field's kind of sort of stretched out, I think things are going pretty well for the drivers. I think we're going to see a much less chance of that safety car coming out unless we see it here in the battle for third. Nick Peterson trying to fend off Antonio Bianchi. Both drivers up 3 spots from where they qualified and have put a fairly comfortable gap on Hunter Graves in 5th. Now again, the top 12, such important positions here tonight, as that will score these drivers some major points and allow them to be inside that inverted top 12, which is both a blessing and a curse. Again, if you're tuning in for the first time tonight here at League Zero, that means if you finish first here this evening, you will be starting 12th in the sprint race to follow tonight, which can be quite a meat grinder on an open track, much less a road course such as Long Beach. As here we go, Peterson trying to set something up on Bianchi as they go back and forth. Bianchi gets a little bit snapped loose, the number 17 machine. And right behind them, more problems. Chase Small and Tebow. Oh, that's Tebow, heavily wounded there. Let's see what happened to him. We believe he was in an incident with Chase Small. Does Small perhaps throw it away? Oh, he does, and Tebow nowhere to go. Absolutely clobbers both Small and the wall. No rhyme purposely intended there. Now Jared Ziegler tuned in makes a great point. Less than 13 drivers on on track at this point in the race. So if we can just finish this out under green flag conditions, everybody out here should be able to score some points. So now it'll be a final battle between the top 12 to see who's going to get the best finish for that inverted grid. And again, thank you all so much to everybody tuning in both on YouTube and on Twitch simulcast here tonight at the Team Boone Squad Broadcasting channel. Couldn't do it without you guys, and I gotta say, it makes this show a whole lot more fun when we've got great fans and friends from across the world tuning in. Antonio Bianchi still trying to make a move on Nick Peterson. We saw these two go back and forth several times earlier on. And another great question to ask is, when are we going to see these green flag pit stops begin to cycle for our drivers? As here we go on board with Bianchi side by side with Peterson. Who's going to throw it in deeper? It looks like Peterson's going to have the line. Bianchi will follow suit through the fountain section of the raceway. And look at this as well, Hunter Graves, Conor Scribner running 5th and 6th, starting to catch up to the battle for 3rd. So very shortly, you may have a 4-car battle for that final podium spot. As Ryan Tebow appears to have left the virtual hauler, left the virtual raceway, and decided to disconnect for the evening. Hate to see it for such a talented driver. I'm assuming we will not see him come back for the sprint race, but time will tell on that point. Green still out front, has clicked off, oh my, a 114.9. Almost a full second faster than the rest of the field has been able to put down here. And talking to the drivers before tonight's broadcast, a lot of the drivers saying with these new tire compounds on the Formula 3 machines, a lot more bouncy out on track compared to what we're used to. And in kind of conjunction with that same train of thought, a lot of drivers also saying the rumble strips, really aggressive now with the update. They're feeling every bump and grind, and hey, they're kind of shooting the cars up. So you may see drivers using that rumble strip a little bit less than we have in the past. And we're going to focus on Conor Scribner in 6th, who's trying to track down Bianchi, Peterson, Graves. We've got Paula tuned in over on YouTube as well, cheering on Nick. I believe Peterson, the number 24 machine, who's sitting well in 4th on track in the number 24 machine. As Scribner has a great seat here behind Graves. Actually, we're going to go on board with Graves. He's a little bit closer to Peterson and Bianchi, two drivers that have been really going back and forth, and I'm just going to be quiet here and watch them go around the fountain. Now, this is the section we saw the safety car have to come out last season here at Long Beach as everybody piled in there, ARCA brakes in full effect. We've got Joseph Penn joining us as well, cheer on the League Zero family. He'll be racing the virtual Formula 1 cars later here this year. As it looks like most of the field getting fairly stretched out. We've got to go back to the battle for 11th. Peter Rettinger, Xavier Zanave, 2/10 apart, and wing the gearbox here, as here comes Zanave to try and make a move on the Austrian driver, sitting it deep. Front rotors absolutely on fire here, with drivers hard on the brakes. And now it looks like Zanave will try and check out, go a little bit further up. Hunter Graves, Conor Scribner have linked up as well, and trying to put on a show here for 5th. Scribner has the inside line. Graves backs out of it to avoid the tire barrier. Good to see the patience rewarding the drivers that are still out on the track. We have very quickly whittled it down to only 13 drivers remaining so far here at Long Beach. And we are not even to the halfway mark tonight, so attrition going to be the name of the game. It'll be less so much of making big passes and more so just maintaining car control for the duration of this evening. He who makes the least amount of mistakes can usually bring it home on the top spot. Now somebody who's not slowing down, Josh Green, your race leader, but oh, we've got more problems. Brad Tritton had a hard lockup, and he's going to lose a lot of space here. Time, I should say, to Kevin Burrows, running 8th. Got Laura Kasai cheering on John Kasai. He's currently 7th on track, number 3 machine. In case you tune in over here on the Team Goon Squad YouTube channel. Ryan Tebow also joined us over on the YouTube side of things, saying, getting a little tired of people spinning out in front of me. But poor Tebow just caught wrong place, wrong time between a rock and a proverbial hard space, in this case, tire wall. But right now, your running order: Green, Potts, Bianchi, Peterson, Scribner, your top 5. And we're focused on Hunter Graves in the 37 machine. But speaking of Scribner, looks like he's having problems as well. Lost a whole lot of time there. And now Graves is going to gain almost 0.3 of a second on the number 18 machine, running 5th. So still plenty of time to see some drivers run out of talent, as once we get to the halfway mark, that is when our fuel window will open up for these drivers. And Scribner gets his momentum back forward, putting a healthy gap on Hunter Graves, but Graves is going to have pressure from John Kasai, the Texas native in the number 3 machine. Got Flo Doms join us as well over on the Team Goon Squad YouTube channel. Another fast driver we're used to seeing and calling the action up front, but I think a lot of drivers took the night off from the league, opting for a drop week just to avoid the League Zero Formula 3 Long Beach shenanigans. But thankfully we haven't seen the caution car come out like we did last season. We will keep things moving forward. Oh, Gareth McAllister had a moment, having to lock it up a little bit. Now he's going to have a whole lot of pressure from Xavier Zanave, Peter Rettinger in the battle for 10th. All these drivers out here trying to score the most amount of points they possibly can. And I think very shortly we're going to have that 3-way battle. Oh, somebody with a hearty blink there. But we're going to keep things going. McAllister fighting for tooth and nail, not trying to make any mistakes. It's going to be close. There's a lot of fast drivers behind him. And everybody locking it up hard there. As McAllister giving it everything he can, battling hard out on track. As we take a look at the young Australian driver's stream point of view, that's his current Twitch stream in the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Browse25 is the channel as we watch him fight heavily for that 10th place spot. Now McAllister about 11 seconds back from Brad Tritton in 9th, but running very comfortably in front of Xavier Zanave. It seems like they've lost Peter Rettinger. And you can absolutely see the focus in McAllister's eyes there, keeping things pointed forward and trying to maintain that spot. You can see as well that he's currently up on his fastest lap, so things are going well for him. Hopefully he can keep things moving forward. Is a big moment there. Almost caught the Australian driver. Xavier Zanave had to catch up. And there's actually a little bit of contact there as well, so glad to see him hold on to it. We're going to go a little bit further up front, where it looked like Peterson was starting to gain ground on Antonio Bianchi to try and make his way up into third. But now the fuel window is officially open. When are we going to see drivers start to come down pit road? Now, historically, drivers will double stint their tires here today, not opting to take additional time as the round goes. Who was that? That was, I believe, Conor Scribner. Just loops it all by his lonesome in the number 18 machine. He's going to try and very safely rejoin as soon as he can. He's got a lot of time before Gareth McAllister makes his way around and sees the yellow flag. So Scribner going to have a little bit of damage there on the front, but able to maintain and keep things going. And that's what you're talking about. That's the attrition that we see here at Long Beach. Just takes one little bobble and you can find yourself careening around. As we once again check on Hunter Graves, Jean Kasai, about 8-10 separating these two drivers in the battle for fifth. We're also going to check back in with your race leader, Josh Green, running 16 and a half seconds ahead of his competition. Oh, what's this? It showed as a crash. Oh, no! Gareth McAllister has absolutely binned it and will throw it away, the attrition. So he will be going back to the hauler early here tonight. You can see the disappointment on the young Australian's face as he takes a look at where it all went wrong, as he kind of does the work for us with the instant replay, grabs too much curbing and just drills the outside wall. So unfortunately McAllister will be done and out of the race here tonight, going back to pit road. Absolutely gutted to see that for the Australian driver. Josh Green still out front, has pulled that gap to 17 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. So far, nobody's come down pit road for a green flag stop. And I guess the one saving grace that McAllister has, even with the DNF in 13th, he'll still be getting points. So not all is lost, but he will be outside of the top 12 for the inversion. Ooh, look at this. Antonio Bianchi comes down pit road on lap 19. He'll be the first driver with a green flag stop. Brad Trenton will follow suit. Green, Potts, Peterson, Graves, Kasai, your current top 5 all opt to stay out a little while longer. Looks like everybody's very quick in their stalls. 4.5 seconds to add enough fuel as, oh, Green stepping it out sideways there. As Green just hot lapping here at Long Beach. Now, we did have an interesting question from our fans over at YouTube. Maybe we'll see some of the drivers opt to take tires with the new tire model. Gonna be interesting. Now, again, historically we never have, but they may be chewing up a little bit more tires here tonight than they have in the past. We'll have to see what green does, because right now the top 9 drivers still have yet to come down in box, with only about 10 laps left to go here tonight. Now, green has slowed down the pace slightly in that number 22 machine as he quickly approaches traffic. That'll be the number 73 machine of Felipe Ramos, who runs 12th on the circuit. The green last time by was about 3/10 slower, so starting to slow down slightly here, but we've also seen him have some big moments, step in the rear end way out, trying to get the power down as quickly as he possibly can. And I'm still astounded the top 9 drivers have yet to come down pit road, really stretching the fuel run out here. As it looks like green really is going to keep hot lapping. You can definitely tell the tires are maybe green is backing out of it, not having to push as hard and at this point of the race to get home till the end. Conor Scribner comes down pit road, and I think this is interesting as well. Graves and Kasai, for about 21 laps now, have not really been separated by more than a second over the entire duration of the run. Josh Green, your race leader, comes down pit road as Gareth McAllister lets us know all 4 tires off the track, and he's having a typical bad luck Australian day. So hate to see that for the young Aussie. Always a lot of fun watching him get on track, but again, the day's not lost. He's still in a points-paying position despite being sent back to the virtual hauler early in this feature event. Hopefully he can come back out stronger than ever in the sprint race of the evening, as Jean Kasai has a late pit stop. So it looks like it's just going to be Peterson and Graves, possibly Conor Scribner opting to stay out here. So it looks like it's going to be Peterson, Graves, Scribner, Zanave, stretching out just a little bit further, as Josh Green will be showing 3rd place after his lap 21 pit stop. As Peterson enjoys his moment in the limelight, the number 24 machine, getting some laps led on fuel strategy, and he will come down pit road. Let's see how quickly it'll take Green to catch up to Graves. As Graves stays out even longer, Scribner comes in for his only stop of the night. Now we have some of the fans asking as well, do these drivers not have enough fuel to go the entire distance? And the answer is no. Every one of these drivers will have to come down pit road at least once, barring any track misfortune. It should be a scheduled one-stop race for these drivers, but it is by design for this to be a one-stop race for all parties included. Now you may see some drivers have to come in multiple times if they find themselves a little bit of contact, deal with another driver or possibly one of the walls here at Long Beach. But this long format race will have everybody coming down pit road at least once. Now in the sprint race to follow tonight, which will only be 15 laps, there will be no scheduled stops. Enough fuel to go all the way out to the end and just non-stop action. Felipe Ramos running 12th. He takes a tow back to pit road. He will be done for the evening. As Hunter Graves comes down pit road very late in the race on lap 24. And look at that, Green after his lap 21 pit stop, putting down even faster times, a 1:14.9 by, not surprisingly, that the professional race car drivers putting down such blistering times here. So now Green looking very good to keep folks on his laps. Scribner has a bit of a bobble coming out the right-hander with a very sharp hairpin. And it looks like Xavier Zanave is going to come out of pit road in about the 9th place spot, make it 10th, as Scribner picks up another spot. The field very stretched out at this point. I want to say we've only got 11 drivers still out there driving after attrition, has put in a whole lot of work here at Long Beach. So many drivers going back to the virtual hauler early tonight. We check in on Jake Potts running second in the number 40 machine. He's up one spot from where he started. And our current hard charger on track is Xavier Zanave in the number 12 machine. He's up 10 positions tonight and now finds himself 10th out on track. So able to capitalize a good inning. This is going to be a very good points weekend for the drivers that were able to come out and survive, as we saw so many fast drivers involved in those incidents early on. And we've also put the league's website into all of our chats here as well for those that want to support the cause or maybe join in on a race yourself. Always good having some friendly faces and what's been one of my favorite events to call. Every weekend action-packed amongst these drivers. And I don't think once we've had a boring race when we get all these guys together out on track. Always a good time with our League Zero family. And major thanks as well to Nemesis Lab coming on board to sponsor this season with their custom sim gear. Norman King gives a little bit of clarification, saying that the pit stops are kind of forced due to limited fuel for these drivers. We might have a battle for 7th shaping up. Brad Tritt was getting a little bit closer to Kevin Burrows' number 80 machine. As now, I think we have 10 drivers still on the track. Make it 11. Peter Redger runs 11th in the number 44 machine. Let's see if we're going to see this battle shake up. Looks like Burrows extending that gap now to about 1.3 seconds over the number 26 of Tritt. Having to slow these cars way up around the hairpins and navigate in the start and finish line stretch. Only 3 laps left to go as Josh Green, your race leader, out in front by a country mile. He is 24 seconds ahead of second place. Jake Potts in second. He finds himself about 6 seconds ahead of Antonio Bianchi. Now Green has missed a few weeks here, having to do some real-life testing and racing, as we're going to go on board with Josh Green. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go on board with a lap with Josh Green and just show you guys the fast way around the track here at Long Beach. And that was a lap on board with your race leader, Josh Green. Absolutely flying as he makes his way around traffic. That's Peter Rettinger running 11th on number 44 machine. As Green has clean track all around him now, on his way to yet another win here at League Zero. It would be extremely unlikely, but not impossible, for Green to make a mistake late in the race. But I don't expect to see too many problems out of number 22 machine as he extended his gap to over 25 seconds over second place. Now Green has not picked up a win since the opening two races. And reminder, by a Red Bull Ring, our opening round, he went back-to-back winning both the feature and the sprint. And at Monza, he picked up the win at the feature, but was unable to secure it for the sprint. And even being off for a whole lot of weeks, Green still finds himself 6th in points, running a limited schedule. It's always a good time having him out on track when he's able to. As now the white flag is out for Josh Green. Coming out strong and looking forward to picking up yet another win here at the League Zero Formula 3 Series. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, after this race, we're going to go into our sprint race of the evening. Half the laps and inverted top 12. And I'd even say 3 times the action compared to the feature event. We got Weston Epps joining us tonight in the spectator area as well here on YouTube. Great having you. Thanks for supporting the broadcast. As Green has about a quarter of a lap left to go here at Long Beach. Qualifying on pole, setting the fastest lap of the race, and now looking for a win. So he's aiming for the hat trick in the number 22 machine. And it looks like things are going to go well as the checkered flag flies for Josh Green. Welcome back to the winner's circle, picking up the top spot in a race of attrition for so many drivers. We go check in on Jake Potts running second in the number 40 machine. He will make his way to the checkered. And now we see Antonio Bianchi, our third driver to bring home the podium. We're going to wait for our top 3 drivers to join us here in the waiting room for their podium speeches. Then we'll have a very, very brief intermission before we go into tonight's sprint event, which is always action-packed for these drivers. Looks like we've got all 3 here. Up first, we're going to have Antonio Bianchi join us, the number 17 machine. Antonio, great race. Not a lot of drivers left there at the end.
Yeah, no, it definitely was a race of attrition there. There wasn't many people left standing at the end of that race. That was fun, though.
Now, Antonio, compared to last season, where this is the first race I broadcasted with you guys that had the infamous safety car roll out due to a track blockage, were you kind of apprehensive that was going to happen here tonight?
The feature kind of goes either way. I feel like it's 50-50 because I think the feature, without the invert, obviously the better drivers tend to start at the front, right? So it's not too bad in that sense, because we can usually make it through. But this invert's going to be iffy. So the sprint's usually when she comes out. So we'll have to see.
Well, fingers crossed you're able to get through there cleanly, the number 17 machine. Now, Antonio, we hear there's an update to the tires on these machines. How are things feeling out on track?
You know what? You definitely feel the tire wear a little bit more here. I was actually talking with my teammate because, by the way, shout out to Levi. He always hops in and crews for me whenever he wrecks out. But yeah, no, I was talking with Levi about actually taking tires potentially. I was like, is it worth it? But the problem is here, it's just such a tight track. You can't really make up 2 seconds that you lose on pit road, so it's not really worth it if you lose a position or two.
Gosh,
But
go ahead.
yeah, you definitely feel them though. You definitely, like, I was feeling tires wear in the front when I was battling with Nick there for a while. After I got by him, I was struggling because I overheated the absolute crap out of my tires.
Well,
But
glad to see you do well
after that, it
and
was good.
finish cleanly in that machine. I mean, right after so many drivers going back to the virtual hauler earlier, it's pretty darn good to be up here in the top 3. Antonio, we know you got a relatively long sprint race. At least it's going to feel like it ahead of you. Well, who do I need to give a shout out to before I let you go get warmed up?
Once again, just Levi, man, big teammate guy. I love him. Other than that, man, everybody else, y'all don't help me too much, but I'm just playing. Anyways, thanks again, bro. We appreciate you broadcasting.
Oh, my pleasure, Antonio. Hope to see you do well in the sprint race as well.
Thanks, man.
That was Antonio Bianchi finishing 3rd here tonight. Up next, we got Jake Potts, the number 40 machine. Jake, good to have you back up here in Victory Lane, my friend.
Yeah, it feels awesome to be back up here, especially at such a tough track.
Yeah, Jake, I mean, a great result tonight. Able to finish a resounding second, about 5 seconds ahead of Bianchi. Were you expecting things to get so spread out towards the end of tonight's feature?
Well, I figured it was going to be a war of attrition. So I was just trying to hang on and keep it, simple, just not push too hard at all, and see what happens at the end. And we made it.
Now, we've been hearing that the curbing here at Long Beach maybe feels a little bit more aggressive, especially in these open wheel cars. Is there a different line you guys are having to take to maybe use a little bit less of that curbing than you have in the past, or is it pretty much maintaining to the same tried and true race line out here?
The curbs are very aggressive on the car, so you have to be careful because it really unsettles it if you take too much in a couple of these corners, and then you end up in the wall because it'll push you wide. So you got to be real careful on them.
Well, Jake, you'll be starting, I believe, 11th for this restart in the inverted grid. What are you feeling like knowing that you're going to have to survive the opening laps when so many drivers are going to be going all out here?
Yeah, it's going to be very tricky, so I'm going to try and take it easy. I think everybody always says that, but we'll see if we can actually do it.
Well, Jake, I'm sorry. We're going to let you get back out there. We know you got a long, short sprint race coming up. Who do I to give a shout out to that's cheering you on here tonight?
The Lumos boys for helping me get prepared and get ready for this race.
Awesome. Jake, good luck out there, my friend. Great having you back up in the booth, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
That was Jake Potts finishing 2nd here tonight. And then finally, but not least, we've got Josh Green, the number 22 machine. A triumphant return after several weeks off with real-life testing and racing. Josh, welcome back, and welcome back to the top spot.
Thank you very much.
Josh, we saw a bit of a bloodbath, which was kind of expected, but able to pick your passes relatively clean. Were you more worried about other drivers' mistakes, maybe tagging the wall and collecting you, or were you able to get through relatively clean and kind of pick those passes as safely as you could?
No, I mean the start of the race from pole was nice and calm, and I mean I defended from Terry a bit going into one. He backed out of it, and from there on it was just smooth sailing. Definitely watched out with yellows. Was a lot more cautious than I would be in any other circuit, but yeah, no, it was smooth sailing.
Yeah, it seemed like, too, tonight, things worked out in your favor pretty early. We started losing about half the field after the halfway mark, I want to say. The track was relatively clear. Do you think that was kind of attributed to the lack of traffic you had to deal with? I think you only lapped maybe 3 or 4 cars that were still out on track this evening.
Yeah, I mean I think as the tires fell off a bit, the car actually got easier to drive in a sense. The start of the session, the car definitely has a bit more oversteer or understeer, and then it goes to more oversteer, which is a bit more controllable. So it might have just made it easier for everyone to, and also you're more spread out as the race goes on.
Now, Josh, you'll be starting 12th for the sprint race. You will not have that clean track ahead of you after pulling the hat trick, the pole position, the fastest lap, and winning at the end. What's the plan here at Long Beach in a 15-lap sprint to still try and bring that car home in the top spot?
It's just picking your moments. I'm not going to win the race in the first corner, and I'm going to have to be very patient with, where I make my overtakes.
Well, awesome. We hope the drivers around you have the same game plan, and hope to see you back up here in the top spot once more. Good having you back, especially on the top spot. Josh, who would like to give a quick shout-out to friends, family, sponsors before I let you go and get ready for the sprint race?
Session Guardian, Turn 3 Motorsport, and Zimperium.
Awesome. Josh, good luck out there, my friend. Always a good time talking to you.
Thank you, you too.
That was Josh Green finishing in the top spot of our feature event. Don't go anywhere. About 3.5 minutes, and we will be right back with our action-packed sprint race of the evening. Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona. The big one is out. And we are back and ready for the sprint race here tonight. Peter Rettinger, Gareth McAllister, been out there burning hot laps as much as they possibly can. I think Rettinger got in 4 or 5 laps. McAllister got in about 6 laps. So we'll see how things go out here tonight and try and get things going as quickly as we can. It's going to be Felipe Ramos starting on the top spot. Peter Rettinger starts second. Xavier Zanabe starting third. Conor Scribner fourth in the grid. Brad Tritt starting 5th, Kevin Burrows starting 6th, Don Kasai starts 7th, Hunter Graves starting 8th, Nick Peterson starting 9th, Antonio Bianchi starts 10th, Jake Pott starting 11th, and Josh Green starting 12th with that inverted grid. Here we go. Only 15 laps to make something happen. This is where we saw the safety car come out last season. As you got your previous race leaders starting towards the back of the pack. And everyone else sending it early on. Oh, did it happen? Yes, it did. It is a parking lot. Oh, yes, the caution comes out. We get the safety car once more. The second season in a row. Who could have seen that coming? And let's take a look at that incident once more to see what's going to bring out the safety car. As we're focused on Raymond Aguilar, the 72 machine. Oh, and it's kind of in front, behind, and around Aguilar. Looks like Josh Green's going to be a little bit involved in that one as well. Levi Opitz. So let's see, it's Aguilar, Malaire, Tebow, Small, Potts, Opitz, King, Graves. Most of the field would be a better way for me to call that. To bring out the safety car here tonight. So we talked about it, and just like that, it's going to happen on the opening lap. The safety car will roll, and we will get them gridded back up single file as Scribner is going to tuck in behind our iRacing safety Porsche. As we got a lot of drivers who are going to be out here. Aguilar and Green come down pit road. Graves and Potts also do the same. James Malaire has disconnected. He is done and out of this race in its entirety. And while we have time under eye-pacing conditions, let's watch that one once more. And maybe see what happens from Josh Green's point of view. He's the number 22 machine, the center of your screen. The field looks like it just comes together in front of him. See one better here. Going on board with Josh Green into the fountain. Oh, and a little bit of, was it a little bit of contact there from Green to the 73? And he just gets pinched on the inside wall, nowhere to go, and Greens and the 3700 Graves will be involved in that one together. And behind them is where the parking lot resides. Drivers pointing the wrong way. Stopped in the middle of the track, just trying not to get hit. We're going to watch that one just one more time because I believe we're going to have time on board with Raymond Aguilar. On board and just getting absolutely drilled here. What's this? Josh Green takes a tow back to pit road after leaving. What happened here to Green? He leaves pit road. Feels the car heavily damaged. And the steering's still not right for Green. He decides to pull over and go back to pit road. So your feature event winner, Josh Green, is done and out here, ladies and gentlemen. He will find himself retired early. So it looks like, oh, that's a lot of people here that are in pit road. So right now, drivers that appear to be retired: Norman King, Raymond Aguilar, Josh Green, Hunter Graves, Jake Potts, James Malaire, all appear to be back to the virtual hauler early on after that safety car has come out. And this will also drastically shorten the laps for these drivers. As we get ready to re-rack the field, rolling around under eye-pacing conditions here at Long Beach. Looking to be about 14 drivers still out on track. We have dwindled our field very quickly this evening. As the field getting stacked back up, but the green flag flies for Conor Scribner. Brad Tritton on the front row are going to immediately try to put in some work here to leave the rest of the field behind him. But look at that, Antonio Bianchi, Xavier Zanave going at it. Bianchi sends it in deep in one and trying to make quick work as they go into the fountain quickly. Bianchi is going to be catching up to Brad Tritton as well. As now the drivers know, so many talented guys such as Aguilar, such as Green are out for the evening. There is a new chance for a winner here tonight at Long Beach, possibly a first-time winner of the season. As it looks like Conor Scribner stretching his legs over Brad Tritton. Tritton has Bianchi linked up to the gearbox of the number 26 machine. Less than 3/10 separating these two drivers in the battle for second. Right behind them, Zanave and Burrows have a battle for fourth. Not a lot of time left, only 10 laps left in the sprint race. And again, drivers will not have to come down pit road unless it is for damage repairs. Aguilar looks like he's left pit road, or at least left his pit stall. Gonna be interesting to see if the number 72 machine tries to limp it around here. We saw Green leave pit road and decide he had too much heavy damage. As Bianchi, Tritton still battling hard for second. They put a little bit of gap over Xavier Zanave. And Scribner stretching his legs out front. 1.5 seconds ahead of Bianchi, who makes the move on Tritton for second. Bianchi's going to put his head down. He wants to catch up to Scribner as fast as he can, trying to leave Tritton behind him. Tritton's going to have company with Zanave and Burrows, who have stacked back up. Quite a tidy pack here, battling for second. And if we go back to Felipe Ramos in sixth, He's got McAllister, Kasai, Peterson, Rettinger in tow with him in a battle for the top 10. McAllister looking for a way around Ramos. He's going to send it in deep on the inside line. McAllister moves up to 6th here. Chase Small may have had a problem in the fountain, and he takes a tow back to pit road, so he will be out for the evening. As Scribner in a good spot here. He's got clean track ahead of him. Clicks off a 1 minute 15.65 his last time by. Bianchi with a 1:16.3. 7/10 off your race leader. So Bianchi is going to need to make something happen as quickly as he can if he wants a chance of catching up to Scribner, because right behind Bianchi, still Trenton and Zanave looming large in the background. Oh no, what's this? McAllister has a bit of a contact with Felipe Ramos, triggering the crash report in the software, showing he was doing something a little bit odd through the hairpin. Looks like he holds on to it. Ooh, Ramos locks up the brakes in turn 1. A quite sketchy rejoin. Ryan Tebow's going to try and make his way around Ramos. Passing, as you heard Green say in the podium interview from that feature race not too long ago, can make things a little bit difficult for these drivers. And it looks like a heated battle for 6th as well. Kasai moves up to 6th, as well as Nick Peterson moves up a spot to 7th after McAllister had a big moment. No incident, no damage on the 25 machine. But keeping things rocking and rolling here tonight. Not many laps left to go. 7 laps as Scribner puts down another fast lap of the race, a 1:15.46. Antonio's starting to pick up his pace slightly. He clicked off a 1:15.7 that last time by, but still losing ground to your race leader. Scribner's extended his gap to 2.7 seconds over second place Bianchi. We go a little bit further back. Looks like Rettinger and McAllister have linked up. McAllister, number 25 machine, Rettinger in the all-black 44. This will be the battle for 8th on track. As we have another incident, shows as Levi Opitz involved in an incident. Let's see what happened to the number 7 machine that caused the moment, because he took a very quick tow back to pit road. Oh, just sends it around into the barrier, knocks off the wheel, and he knows, hey, my night is done here. Ryan Tebow finds himself involved in a battle with Ramos. And this will be the battle for the final 10th spot. Tebow looks to the inside line of Ramos. We saw Ramos cook it in too deep in turn 1 that last time by. And it looks like Ramos is going to answer on the inside line. And throws it away. Looks like he is about to make a very gutsy move. Norman King able to squeeze through, so Ramos will drop back to 12th. And take a tow back to pit road, possibly an Alt F4 moment there by Ramos. And yes, Ramos has disconnected from the session. Done and out for the evening. That's going to put us down to 11 drivers on the lead lap. Very similar, 12 drivers left on the raceway. Very, very similar to what we saw in that opening feature event. As, Scribner has a bit of a moment there. That may allow Bianchi to find some more time. as he's now 2.5 seconds back from your race leader. Will Bianchi have enough time? Will he have the speed to challenge for the lead? Or is this Scribner's race, barring any mistakes out of that number 18 machine? Again, only 5 laps left to go here tonight after we had that early massive wreck that brought out our safety car. We have a battle for, it's going to be 8th, possibly developing. Rettinger has started to catch back up to the Australian Gareth McAllister in the battle for 8th. 7/10 separating these two drivers. And looked like McAllister had a bit of a moment coming out of the hairpin, not able to get the power down like he was looking for. Now he was still about 0.3 of a second up of his all-time best lap that last time by. So McAllister's finding more and more pace here the longer the run develops. Another point of interest, John Kasai starting to get a little bit closer to Kevin Burrows. In the battle for 5th, both Burrows and Kasai both up 1 spot here tonight so far in the sprint race. Now I do find it interesting, Aguilar, who's involved in that lap 1 crash, came down pit road on his own power, spent 5 minutes and 40 seconds in his pit stall to try and get that machine drivable, and it is working well for Aguilar. He is moving up in the standings, passing drivers that have retired early, because again, if you take the fast repair, if you take a tow back to pit road, a tow, you are ineligible to get back out on track and rejoin the race. But if you are able to limp it back to your pit stall under your own power, you are free and clear to rejoin the track surface and try and salvage an evening. Now Kasai's lost just a little bit of time here to Burrows, and possibly more interesting, his teammate Nick Peterson, number 24 machine, getting a little bit closer here. Now I don't expect Kasai and Peterson to maybe battle too intensely, as they don't want to risk taking out both team cars in one foul swoop. Peterson getting closer and closer to Kasai in the battle for 6th. 2 teammates. Very easy to spot out on track. Are they going to work together to try and reel in Burrows? But you see Kasai get all sorts of sideways as Bianchi puts down the fastest lap of the race at 1:15.27. He's been slowly gaining ground on your race leader, Conor Scribner, as now it is less than a second and a half separating Scribner from Bianchi. But very, very short on time here if we're going to see Bianchi try and make any big moves. As it is very shortly to be about a 3-car battle for 5th. We're watching Burrows, number 80 machine, Kasai in the 3, Peterson, number 24 machine, with just a couple of laps left as Peterson tags the outside wall. Not the fastest way around here at Long Beach, hopefully not sustaining any damage there. But that may be a little bit of a wake-up call for the 24 machine, knowing he's pushing about at his limit, or at the very least the machine's limit. as the tire fall off. Look at that. Here comes Kasai. And oh no, McAllister and Renger involved in an incident. Let's see what happened to McAllister. I wonder if he lost it in the hairpin. And I don't think that's the right spot of racetrack we're supposed to be on. What happened here? McAllister loop it? Yes, he did in the hairpin. Renger with nowhere to go, just boops the side of the number 25 machine. And Renger moves up to 9th while McAllister is now sitting 10th. Now during this, it's still Burrows, Kasai, Peterson, 5th, 6th, 7th. As the white flag flies for Conor Scribner. Scribner has lost a lot of ground here. He's only a second ahead of Bianchi, but Bianchi only gained about a 10th at the finish line. Scribner clicked off a 116 flat, while Bianchi with a 115.5. 8/10 separate your race leader Conor Scribner from Bianchi in second. Oh, you see Bianchi gets all sorts out of shape there. Oh no, Bianchi throws the race away, removing the left side of the car. Bianchi is done. And Brad Tritton, Xavier Zanave will suddenly find themselves in podium contention, as I don't even think Bianchi is going to be able to limp it back to the finish line. He's in big trouble here, as the top three has rapidly changed. So it's going to be Scribner, Tritton, and Zanave if they can make it through this back half of the raceway without incident. The checkered flag flies for Conor Scribner, and he picks up a massive win here tonight. I believe his very first win of the season. Brad Tritton, Xavier Zanave will round out the podium. Oh, that's a lot of fresh faces out here on track. But it is Conor Scribner picking up the win and burning it down here at Long Beach. And his first win of the season. Well done to Scribner. A very hard-fought battle out here today. We're going to try and get all of our drivers up here in the waiting room and see if they can tell us about their evening. We're going to try and get our drivers up here to the waiting room to talk about their evening. We've got Brad Tritton on standby. We're waiting for Xavier Zanave and Conor Scribner. Well, that is a picture by Xavier, isn't it? So we're still waiting on Xavier Zanave, Connor Brown to make their way up here to victory lane. They may be too busy celebrating. We've got Connor Brown. We've got Brad Tritton. We're waiting on Xavier Zanave to make his way up into the stall before we will have to be forced to go on without him. So Xavier Zanave on third and final call, and unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to get up here to the booth in time. So we're going to go first up, just in the nick of time, right as we have given up. There's Xavier Zanave, the number 12 machine, picking up a podium. Xavier, welcome to Victory Lane, my friend. Xavier, you got a copy? Zanave, can you hear me? Xavier, you got a copy? We're going to keep trying for Xavier Zanave, who's having some sort of mic problems here tonight. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to circle back to Xavier, and we're going to talk to Brad Trent in the second place number 26 machine. Brad, great race tonight, and looked like at the very end you saw that second place spot pop out of nowhere.
Yeah, I had a Dodge Antonio's nose cone there, so that was interesting.
Now, Brad, we saw the caution vehicle come out early on. I can't say it was unexpected, but were you still surprised to see that early on tonight?
Nope. Next question.
A man of many words, Brad Trenton. Good night. No, Brad. That was almost identical to what we saw last year. I want to say it was later in the race last year before the parking lot commenced, but looked like the fountain is where all the shenanigans started tonight. I mean, what did you think happened from your point of view, or were you kind of well and clear of it?
The start of the feature, I saw two cars on the left, and I lifted and just made sure I got through. On the sprint, I was past it already, thankfully.
Well, it seemed like it worked well, and Brad, we didn't get to talk to you that much. How are the tires feeling for you tonight? Did you notice any changes from the old tire compound to the new just in the sprint race tonight?
Not. I don't know. I need to drive on a track that I actually know. This track I am not good at, which is why I was just like, I'm just going to finish races and move on. That's all I cared about today, was just finishing races and not fighting anybody.
Well, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better night, all things considered. I mean, you brought it home in second place in a field of extremely talented drivers and kept it relatively clean. Now, did you have any close calls in this sprint race?
I had a Dodge Antonio, and then the start is always sketchy. Two people in front of me started off really slow, so I was basically rubbing the wall to get past them. And then through the first corner, it was real touch and go, and then the caution came out a few corners later, so it was kind of welcome.
Now, were you, I guess my final question, were you at all worried that you were going to maybe get caught up in something? You got through the first incident clear, relatively easy, no problems there. Were you kind of worried that when the field stacks up, maybe things are going to get worse again?
I was worried. I was hoping that I would get enough of a jump that Xavier behind me wouldn't try to lunge, and I knew that Conor was way faster than me, so I wasn't going to lunge on him. But I was hoping that wouldn't open the door for Xavier, and it worked out. Once we got through the first lap, there was a good gap between everybody, and I just kind of relaxed. Antonio was behind me. Then I missed my braking marker because I was thinking about, I don't know, the stars. And then I just, like, whatever, he's faster than me anyways, he can go. And then, well, he gave it back.
Well, yeah, that he did. Well, Brad, glad to see the plan worked out well for you, keeping it clean, keeping that forward momentum, and avoiding heartbreak tonight here at Long Beach. Before I let you sign off and celebrate after quite a long night, who would like to give a shout out to, friends, family, sponsors that helped you get up here?
Pillow. I'm going to go hug my pillow. That's what we're doing. Yeah, my pillow is king.
Awesome. Well, we wish you and your full-size anime pillow the absolute best of luck. Brad, great job in a second-place battle tonight, and hope to see you back up here next week, my friend.
Yeah, see you later, Senpai.
Thank you, Brad. That was Brad Tritton bringing it home in the second-place spot. Up next, we've got Conor Scribner, the number 18 machine, in the top spot. Conor, excellent night here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. I wish it could have been a little bit better in the feature, but what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, I mean, Conor, up 3 spots from where you started in the sprint race, kept it clean all the way through. Didn't look like you had any problems. I mean, what was the plan here, as we've seen the sprint race historically collect so many drivers in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I lucked into like just one of the best starts I think I've ever had. Just really got off the line super well. So just taking the lead into the first corner, it's much easier to not get caught up in anything when there's no one in front of you. So that was really useful.
Conor, once we saw that safety car come out, the full course caution coming into effect, were you more anxious having to ride around at pacing conditions, or did it get a chance for you to maybe put your heart rate back under control?
No, it's definitely nice to get a break like that. Also gives you an opportunity to warm up your tires a little bit. So it's definitely the restart. You feel a little bit more under control than you do at the very start. But you definitely also get anxious. I was looking at Antonio and he was in third place, and like I was really hoping he might get caught up, but he managed to get through pretty quick, and he pushed me really hard. So it was a good race.
A lot of fun having you out here. I mean, a great race, all things considered, despite the usual Long Beach carnage. And I believe, Conor, this is your first time in the top spot of Victory Lane so far this season. When's the last time you've got a win here at League Zero?
I think this is number 1 for me. So I'll never forget it. You never forget your first. So.
Attaboy, Conor. Well, you did great tonight. We're very proud of you. Pumped to have you in the top spot. And I guess you got the privilege of the highest honors. Who do I give a shout out to? Friends, family, sponsors that helped put that number 18 machine up in Victory Lane for the very first time.
I got to thank my wife. She's not been feeling too well over the past 2 days, but she's crew chiefing me throughout it. So got to thank her so much for that.
Well, awesome. Conor, great job tonight. We're all pumped for you here at the League Zero family, and hope to see you with that continued success in the very near future.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a nice night.
You as well, my friend. And that was Connor Brown picking up the win. We're going to try once more for Xavier Zanave. Xavier, you got a copy? No, Xavier. We're trying so hard to reach the Frenchman on comms. Maybe he has a push-to-talk bound that he's not remembering, or maybe he's got the wrong audio device. So unfortunately, I don't believe we're going to be able to do a podium interview for Xavier Zanave, but what we will do for Xavier, since he's unable to talk tonight, we will get our third-place finisher up in the booth next week before the green flag flies for the feature event. So keep an eye out for Xavier picking up, I want to say, possibly his first podium here at League Zero. So we will try again in the near future for him. And tonight, again, in the final sprint race, it's Conor Scribner, Brad Tritton, Xavier Zanave, your top 3 drivers. As always, on behalf of LeagueZero.net, as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you same time, same place next week.